What's up, everybody? I'm Blevin Robinson with West Coast Cajun Cuisine, and today's video Boudin. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time here and you're interested in learning how to cook authentic Cajun cuisine, comfort food, and just about anything for that matter, then you've come to the right place. Click that subscription button and that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, today's video is Boudin. Now, if you don't know what Boudin is, it's a sausage typically made with pork. Then you add some rice to it, stuff it in the casing, and you've got some of the most intense flavor you've ever had in your life. Boudin is so famous, you can go to Louisiana and take a Boudin tour. They will bring you to a bunch of different areas. You can try all different kind of Boudins. It's that damn good, trust me. So I'm gonna show you my version of it today. So let's go ahead and get to the kitchen and start cooking. All right, so what we have here is a pork shoulder I just cut up into large chunks. I have the holy trinity of Cajun cooking, which is onion, bell pepper, celery. I also have some green onion in there. We're going to use some natural hog casing for this, some Cajun seasoning, parsley, garlic. We're going to cook up some jasmine rice to mix up with this. And I'm also going to use chicken liver. Now, trust me, I know that sounds disgusting for you liver haters out there, because I'm one of them. I think liver is disgusting no matter what animal it came from. But when it comes to Boudin, you cannot skip out on this ingredient. This takes that Boudin to a whole nother level. So the actual recipe will be down in the description below. You can go ahead and get it from there, and eventually it would also be on the website. Let's go ahead and get to the kitchen and put this all together. All right, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and get a stock pot, heat it up on a medium heat, put about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil in there, and then we will start placing in pork shoulder. Now, the pork shoulder, I'm just going to brown up a little bit. I'm not looking to cook it all the way through. But what I am going to do is go ahead and season it with some Cajun seasoning. And then I'll stir it around a little bit more seasoning after that. You know, I want to get the pork well coated in that Cajun seasoning. Now, that big chunk you see right there, that is the bone from the pork shoulder. And I wanted to keep some meat on there and make sure that bone was in there because it's going to flavor this stock. Now we're going to go ahead and add that chicken liver. And yes, that does not look very appetizing, but trust me, it's going to be good. So we're going to get that well mixed in there, let it cook down for about 5 minutes or so, and then add our vegetables. Now, once our vegetables are in there, we're going to go ahead and give it another mix, and then cook that down for about, 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then we will start adding our garlic. Now, we have about 12 garlic cloves here we're going to press into this, and once we get the garlic in there, we'll do the same thing. We'll give it a good mix. Cook it down for about 5 minutes, and then from there we are ready to add our water. Now I'm going to add about 4 to 6 quarts of water. I just want to go ahead and cover the meat here, and then once I get the water in there, we're going to make sure everything is well mixed, and then add that seasoning we had from earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and put it all in there. I want this well seasoned because we're going to be doing a lot of cooking and adding some more stuff to it, so don't be afraid that it's too much seasoning. I could have actually added a little bit more. So once I bring this up to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and skim off this foam from the top. That's just some impurities and stuff up there. You don't have to do this, but I chose to go ahead and skim that stuff off. And then once we do that, we will lower the heat to a simmer, put the top on, and just let it simmer for about 2 hours. Then after about 2 hours, we're going to go ahead and check it out, and you can tell that this meat is just falling apart. It's coming right off that bone. So now what we want to do is strain it. So I'm going to set up a little strainer here, and I want to reserve some of this liquid because we're going to use it later. So I'm going to go ahead and reserve probably about 2 quarts or so of this liquid. And then once I do that, go ahead and strain what little bit of meat fell in there. And then after we do that, I'll put this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down. I actually put it in a container and then set it in the refrigerator for now. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and separate the meat from this bone, and then we're going to take the meat, set it to the side, and let it cool. Now while it's cooling off, we're going to go ahead and rinse off our hog casing because it's been preserved in salt, and we want to go ahead and just clean that off anyway. And then we're going to take that meat that's cooled off and add 1 cup of chopped fresh parsley and 1 cup of chopped green onion, and give that a good mix. Now right here you got a couple of decisions to make, and it all depends on the kind of texture you want out of your sausage. You could, if you didn't want to grind it, just shred it, that meat up really well because it is tender enough to do so. Then add your rice, some of that reserved liquid, and then stuff your casing. Or what you could do is go ahead and just grind up your meat mixture, then add your rice, a little liquid, and go ahead and stuff it. But what I chose to do right here is to go ahead and add the rice, and I'm going to grind it all together. I'm going to season it up here in a minute because once you add the rice, you know, we're going to need a little bit more seasoning, and then we'll add some liquid and stuff. I'll show you the steps here as we get to it. But this is basically just a preference, just kind of depends on the kind of texture you're looking for. You want more texture, then go ahead and grind your mixture up first, then add your rice. I like it both ways. After doing this, I actually prefer it by grinding the meat up first and then the rice, but it really wasn't bad doing it like this either. Alright, now that we got it all mixed well and seasoned well, we're going to start loading up the grinder here and get this mixture all well grinded. Now once we get it grinded up, we're going to start adding some of that reserved liquid that we saved. And this is a preference thing. You kind of want to get a good texture here. You don't want your sausage to come out dry, so I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid at a time until I'm satisfied. And then once I do that, we're going to set the grinder up with the casing tube, and then we'll start putting the casing on there and get it set up to make some sausage. So take a little bit of time here and get that casing on there, and then we're going to start putting that mixture through the grinder and start making sausage, ladies and gentlemen. So once you get the length you're satisfied with, just go ahead and twist it off there and just keep on going until you're all done. And then once you come to the end, just go ahead and tie that casing in a knot, and then you can cut your lengths. And then from here, man, you can smoke it, boil it. I decided to go ahead and fry it in a little bit of olive oil, and this is how it turned out. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Boudin. Now listen, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I'd really appreciate that. If you haven't tried Boudin before, try this recipe. You can scale it down a little bit because it does make a lot of sausage. You could take and bring everything down to about a quarter of what the recipe calls for. That way you can just kind of make a little bit and try it for yourselves. But trust me, you're going to like this recipe. Next week, we're going to kick off our Thanksgiving series. And I'm going to start off by showing you how to take an ordinary can of green beans and taking it to a level of scrumptiousness you will not believe. If you want to catch that video, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And by the way, since you're here, go ahead and check out some of the other videos on the channel. I'll see you in the next one.